You guys already see the name of the episode, Coolest Scyther. In fact, we're just going to go ahead and start with that. I'm not really known to drag things along in terms of the point of the video. I'm known to drag videos along just in terms of dragging them along, but with just sharing information. But let's just go ahead. Oh, well, it's Bree. Get that off there. Let's just go ahead and go with what is arguably the coolest Scyther. Not mine specifically, just Rocket Scyther in general, whether you have this in English, Japanese, or if you have it with the first edition symbol, whatever. But this has got to be the coolest Scyther card there is. If you can prove me wrong that you have a cooler Scyther card, drop it in the comments. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start getting these cards graded. It's an old grading sheet. I started to change the sheets to say just grading company at the top, but these are old, so they still say PSA, which again, because we haven't received our 21 CDC cards back yet, almost there, we have to go off with what we know, and we know the PSA standard. Now, there isn't really indentation. There's some kind of upheaval. This corner is what I'm talking about. Other than that, surface looks pretty good. Centering's pretty good. Looks like we got some upheaval, just slightly. Really not end of the world stuff. You might say the borders are thick, but they're even, so. And then on the back, there's some of that upheaval we were seeing. There's quite a few right there. I personally don't know what causes this. This is hard because PSA definitely wouldn't be happy with some of these things up here. It's no whitening. It's just like a very aggressive indenting. Ooh, that's rough. With no whitening and centering being really superb. Man, a part of me wants to say this would get an 8, but those indents or those uplifts, whatever you want to call them, they're rough as hell. Oh, I could see this going as low as a 5. This is going to be probably my greatest range variance I've ever done. I don't think I've ever done a 3-point range variance. But I would say 5 to 8 on this card, to be honest. And some of you who have, only seen 8s in their slabs are saying that's not an 8. Look, if you cracked open enough PSA 8s and did what I just did in terms of actually zooming in and holding them under the light under the angles to which we did, you'd see that there's an 8 every now and then that has similar levels of indentation, whatever you want to call those. And then up next, a card that definitely had a lot of people happy when it came out in terms of just it being Typhlosion and it being a dark. A lot of people really like dark cards, just, ooh, the Pokemon's dark. Really strange. I mean, there is some like actual hollow glint going on. Surface for sure isn't perfect. We got some pretty decent scratches right on the Pokemon. This was more than likely 100%. Like, I mean, just because of the era, this was a card in somebody's collection as a kid. What's really weird that keeps standing out to me, the eye, the dot over the eye for Typhlosion it's like the dot almost was like added separately. It's really weird. Centering, on the other hand, is really good. We do have some strong whitening. This one, to me, in terms of just this one is more obvious what this is. This is closer to a 6. Like almost on the money to a T standard of what a 6 would be. 5 would be kind of pushing it, but that Dark Typhlosion is basically the principle of what a 6 is. Now I do like this scratch hollow, whatever you want to call it. So it's a league double colorless energy hatch or scratch, whatever it's called. Centering looks pretty good, and there's really nothing wrong with the card on the front. Tiny cornering issues, but very minute. Honestly, sometimes it's quick and easy to say when you see a 10. I do wish it was a 10 on the Scyther and Dark Typhlosion for sure, but I guess we'll take our 10s where we can get them. Okay. I think this card was actually one of my pulls, this next one. Geez, I want to say it was. I think it was. We've got Alolan Ninetales. I do like the texturing on these cards. I just have a hard time deciphering their surface. And what's funny, when you take a look at this card, I don't know if it was intentional. I just don't think back in the day they quite had texturing figured out. You can see that the texturing is done in separate blocks on the card. I don't know if that was intentional. I think they were really having a hard time getting their system to make these textured cards. I could be wrong, but it is from 2017. Now, what I'm bad about is always figuring out centering on these cards. Actually, this one isn't too hard to tell. It is off-center for sure, left to right, and top to bottom. It's actually significantly enough for me to tell. It's definitely thicker on the left than it is the right, and it's definitely thicker on the top than it is the bottom. So this one on the front wasn't too hard to tell. And the centering, if it's drastic enough for me to tell, it's drastic enough to actually affect the grade. However, the rest of the card looks and feels really good. So that's good. And the back looks great. And the centering on the back actually looks pretty good. If the front centering was as good as the back centering, I'd for sure 100% say 10. Now, because we're looking at some not so great centering on the front, it's definitely not the most egregious I've seen. Definitely isn't perfect. Oh, I know some of you are gonna say just say 9, but I've seen things like that get a 10. So we're gonna go off prior experiences and say 9 to 10. This is liked somewhat by by Necrozma, fans, but I know a lot of people prefer just the main form of Necrozma. I am not sure. I don't know. The back looks real. This isn't usually a card people would fake. I'm just not used to the front. The back looks pristine. We've got that down. I'm not used to the front of cards looking like this. Huh. I'll submit it, but front to back, honestly, it could pristine. if it's a real card. I'm actually not really sure what to think of the card itself, to be honest. It should 10 at a minimum. It's not a super heavy hitter, but I don't think there's too many standard 10s of that card, and I definitely don't think there's too many pristine 10s of that card. Up next, Shadowless Bulbasaur, uncorrected, length. Man, I wish it was just first edition. This card is clean. It is incredibly clean, at least on the front. Let's see how the back is. It's up there. It's oof. I don't. Man, I don't have like a half plus sign. I think it will 10, and you know what I'll do? Because I'll just. I think a 10 to 10 plus. I definitely think that would PSA 10, and I've just got a feeling that it could pristine 10, and I think it would. I don't know how many, if there are any, shadowless pristine 10s there are for that card. Okay. Leafeon, probably the least liked of the EV dogs. The EV evolutions. Yeah, it's got some surface scratching for sure on the holo and on the card itself. Some stuff going on the corner. It's not terrible, but it's not really a good sign if the front of the card has all this going on. Back's got some whitening, It's not end of the world. I don't think it's 8. I don't think it's 5. I do think this sits in between the 6 and 7 category. Again, some of you are probably like, got your jaw to the floor going, no way, that can't be a 6 to 7. Look at all the scratches it had in the hollows, and I'm letting you know now, is for whatever reason, that's a minor factor to these graders. It just is. Up next is a Sneasel, which honestly I never really felt like it deserved to be a rare, but oh well. Just the smallest of uplift, but not really damage unless we see something on the back. It is slightly bottom heavy compared to top heavy. Left to right is good. Even something feels a little bit off with this card. And again, it's just not a card people would generally fake. I don't want to... man. If it wasn't for this, I'd say pristine 10. As is, I just want to say 10. And I know some of you are going, I thought we're doing PSA standard. If you're saying it could or couldn't pristine 10 and it's just doing a standard 10, then you're not doing you're not doing PSA standard, you're doing CGC standard. And I get you there, but shut up. Okay. I want to say this Politoed It's non-hollow Politoed. I want to say it's from my personal collection all the way back to 2001. I do want to say this one is from it. Which right now it's impressive the shape it is in. Because I played with most of my cards. Now I'm seeing some wrinkles, but wrinkles are not a crease. How's the back look on that? Yeah, those are wrinkles, not a crease. I got some whitening, some uplift, some more uplift, some more. Man. PSA, in my opinion, at least in the past, have been more forgiving to non-hollow cards. Now it does feel like they're cracking down a bit. I think, honestly, just flat 6 is what that one is, a PSA. I don't know if I'm going to send that one into CDC. I'll have to review some of these. Okay. Victini pointing to that good old USSR. It's not perfect. It's not terrible. Definitely not centered. Right heavy, bottom heavy. Other than that, everything looks pretty fine. And this artist, this Tomokazu Tomoya, super heavily sought out after. Oh, man. Whitening is not the end of the world. Centering's not the end of the world. I honestly think a flat 7 for this card is... It's not the craziest thing. It's not my favorite, y'all. I like to see some more 9s and 10s on the board. Up next is a card, at least raw, I know had really jumped up in value. I'd have to see what it is rated. But this specific Dedenne, this reverse hollow one, has really gone up in value. At least raw, and for a time period, I don't know if that still stands true. Centering's not terrible. It's not bad. Just looks a little different. I want to say this was a pack pull for me. I don't want to say pristine. I don't want to say 9. I think I will just say flat 10 for this card. And I think that's it. Well, it's like whitening, but it's not. I don't want to give myself leeway, but I've done it so many times before. Nine to 10. I think that's a fair guess. Alright, focus band. The issue with Japanese trainers is they've got no number for me to put into the system. Another Tomokazu Tomoya card. Honestly, somewhat sought out after. A small thing, very minor. Centering's pretty good. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's on the back, it's heavier right than left. Top to bottom's good though. You may go, no, there's no way. I honestly would just guess 10 on this card. I would guess 10. I really would. Let me take a look at it off camera. Give me a second. I think I think it's in the. I honestly do. I think it's in the tens. This next chart, I'm not so certain if I'm going to send in. I really have to see what it goes for graded. I don't usually see this card graded. At least not the non-hollow version. I don't know if there even is a hollow version of this card. I think centering looks good. I would just say 9, and I'd really have to look into this card. I don't know if it would really. I mean, even though it's a 12-year-old card, I don't even know if a 9 if it's really worth it. So, we'll have to reevaluate that. Hopefully this next card is good, and it's not from the theme deck because it has a rarity symbol. Holy shit! How did I miss that? I don't know if I bought this from a collection or what, but that bad boy. And look, if it wasn't, look at that, not in the lighting. Even if I move the lighting like that, and I move it like that, and I move it like that, and you kind of see it, but at this angle, and without knowing, it just looks like, oh, there's just like a wax smudge or a finger smudge, and then once I go like that, and you see the light completely want to stop on it, and then it takes all that and then you only have it on that corner. That's a very intense bend / crease, and it's really unfortunate because really, if you look at the card as a whole, I mean, you got this little whitening here, but you look at the card as a whole, and the card's pretty much no scratches. It's just a very, very, very good card. This will not be sent in for grading. I'm gonna go ahead and make a note that it is damaged, and we'll move on. Sucks. It wouldn't have been an amazingly valuable card, but all I want to write on the top loader, damaged, on the top loader, not the card. The card still has some sort of value, but yeah, we're not going to grade something that's that beat up. That's for sure. Okay, RK9. These aren't my favorite hollow patterns, by the way. I guess that's a scratch. I don't know if that's intentional, a misprint. It's just a really odd place for a scratch, for a card that probably would never have been played. Wasn't played by me, at least. I mean, the card looks completely unplayed. I don't really know, like this right here. Like, I don't know how to really take that in. Let me... And I don't think you can see it on camera, but it's really odd. It's like, I've had this happen with some other cards, but it was more prevalent. It's not prevalent enough to see on camera, but like you can see it right there. Not just the line, but you can see it in the border, not just the edge of the border. But I'm talking about the border as a whole, the yellow border as a whole. There's like hollow bleed. Oh man, it's even very hard to see in person. It's very faint, but it's there. I don't know if it's enough to to really like try and reach for an error. And the only reason that really made me even kind of consider what I'm seeing, I think for the most part, like these leaves aren't supposed to have holographic going through them, but they do. You can see it right here. They got it there, and they definitely have it there. I think the hollow was just supposed to be everything besides the arcanine and the leaves, and maybe even not even this land in the back, but it's all of it. Besides the arcanine, and this particular era is notorious for the whole card to have hollow bleed, and I'm trying to make it visible for real. I mean, I guess if it's not coming up on camera, it's probably not worth trying to argue a bleed misprint. But I just put 9. Card's probably a 9. It's only one scratch. Good centering. Pretty much no whitening. Boy, I hope this card 10s, because I have this card in other grades and it does not sell easily. Shadowless Diglett. Huge pain in the butt to sell in lower grades. Like 7s and 6s. I don't think it will 10. Oh, yeah. Oof. I'm going to put 6 to 7. Not my favorite, because again, back to those grades that are kind of a huge pain in the butt to sell for that card. Oh boy, you guys are going to chastise me for probably not pronouncing this right. I don't know if it's Gallant or Gallade. My apologies. I know it evolves into Gardevoir, but I don't know the name of this, how to pronounce the name of this Pokemon. We'll start with centering. Corners look fine. It's a little thicker left than it is right. Top to bottom, a little thicker bottom than it is top. Surface looks good. Eight to 9, really more so leaning towards 9, but I could see it getting an 8. It's not the end of the world, but now this one's just hard to tell if this was ever PC, because hold on, what looks like grime there. Give me a second. I've got some decently long fingernails today, which should get this off. It's not catching, so there we go. Give me a second. Guys, it's always worth, if it catches your fingernail, it's probably always worth getting rid of it. I mean, you're not seeing the before and after, you're only seeing the after, so it's not nearly as appealing. But Shadowless Charmander, it's thick, but it's even. Just how she likes it. Ooh, there is a good bit of whitening. This probably isn't worth grading. This is sitting right around borderline, honestly. 5 with that amount of whitening. Possibly 6, but, and I have had cards with that much whitening get 6s, but even though it's Shadowless, it's still only Charmander, it's not Charizard. That might get pulled to the side. Up next is Charmander again, Legendary Collection. Not hollow version. Sorry, guys. Thicker left than it is right, just by a tad. Thicker top than it is bottom by a tad. I'd say probably just 8. It's funny too because this era didn't come out too much longer at all when I was no longer buying Pokemon cards as a kid. And it just definitely would have been nice to have bought some of those more so. And Legendary Collection was like base set too. Nobody wanted it for the longest time. Oh, hold on. Not a huge, nothing enough to really claim as a bend. I don't think I'm going to claim Cosmos. This is in an era to where this should have been the pattern used. Thick, but evenly thick. Good amount of surface scratches, but again, it's a WotC era card. That's a bit of something to notice. Ooh. I'm gonna say 7 to still possibly 8. That doesn't seem likely. I'm not saying it's super likely, but it could still 8. Okay, guys, I am still waiting for those 21 cards back from CGC. You and I, all of us, we've just prepped another 20 cards. Well, I guess 19, so we had to pull the one. 19 cards for CGC. We're getting up there, guys. We've got like, I think there's another 120 cards to go till we have 400 cards ready. Honestly, though, I'll probably take 200 at a time. Got a lot of things going on. So just the cost of submission is it's fairly significant, especially with what I got going on. But yeah, thanks for watching. And again, send me what your coolest Scyther is. Thanks.